Welcome back to Lanterne Rouge Cycling Podcast. For our weekly show, we've got race recaps of some Italian classics, Langkawi. We have changes at Israel Premier Tech, a big transfer bomber that was dropped at the end of last week, merger news from Lotto Intermarché. Benji's looked through the Belgian press for more details on that, and calendar announcements, my favorite. We got big changes to the, well, not big changes. Yeah.
Big changes. You got to hype it up now, and then people will react later when it actually is being spoken about.
Big changes to the UCI calendar.
Like we're talking Tour de France level races, right?
Some would say bigger. And for scouting purposes, historically more important.
Okay.
The Herald Sun Tour. Jai Hindley, Jay Vine.
I hadn't even added it to my notes, that one.
You didn't need to.
It didn't even make it to it.
There you go. And also some race previews, Grand Piemonte, Paris Tour, Tour of Vendée, Tour of Holland. I think Luke's the ambassador for that. And we'll have the separate Lombardia preview tomorrow or in the next couple of days. That's obviously very detailed and up in the air who's going to do well there. This episode, our weekly show, is brought to you by Join Cycling. As always, we had the kickoff of the Join Lanterne Rouge Swift indoor series last Thursday, and it's back this Thursday as well. Some more info on that shortly. But you were over in Asia, Benji, watching in the mornings Langkawi. What happened there?
Yeah, I physically went to Asia to follow the Tour de Langkawi, which is a race in Malaysia, very closely. I'm a big fan of that race, fanatically, because it's an important race this year. Because it's an opportunity for UNOX to distance Cofidis in the UCI World Tour ranking. If you missed it, in the last episode of the weekly show, we went in-depthly on how the UCI World Tour ranking worked. I'm not going to redo that for this podcast, because I just want to update you that UNOX did pretty well in that. They didn't win every single stage or anything like that, but Blikra getting a second place there, getting a fourth place there, Christoph getting a close place there, all those results, that racks up UCI points, while Cofidis is kind of sitting at the sidelines at the moment, and they're not exactly scoring the big points, I would say. So UNOX is extending their lead on Cofidis. Is there a new article from Broski?
Raul did it 22nd September. He'll do a calendar article this week. I put him to that. I said, Raul, Monday, the new calendars drop. We need info. So he's on to that, but he'll do a final ranking analysis at the end of October. I think when's Giro del Veneto and Chrono de Nation? In like 2 weeks?
I assume 14 October.
No.
17 October.
Yeah, around there, 17, 19 October. So he'll do one around, probably the Monday after that.
Where will that come?
On lanternerouge.com.
Exactly. I'm finishing off your plugs because you forget it every now and then.
I think I've never seen, like, we've seen scheduling for the relegation battle and the points. Very obvious. Like, that's why these teams are in Langkawi. That's what I think Unibet did pretty well on GC. That's pretty important for them to be in the top 30 to get an invite for a Grand Tour.
They're saving that.
I think they're gravy there. It's between Bardiani and Vinny Fantini. Just to go across to Coppa Bernocchi recap, I've never seen it more evident in actual racing than in Bernocchi.
Okay.
Because, and it's not a criticism, it's just a fact of what happened. There was a group ahead with a lot of the race favourites, big teams, and Brennan Bling was mega strong. Bling, he's good to see him in good shape. Jay Vine bridged across, UAE, Visma, Bling, Trek had two with Baggioli, Philipson's in good shape, Albert that is. But there was one man in there who UNOX could not allow without them in the break, and that was Benjamin Thomas. Now, Benjamin Thomas has actually been quite good in these Italian classics. He came second to Del Toro in Trofeo Calzone Pizza Focaccia in a couple of weeks ago. And he was in this move, no UNOX. Andreas Leknesson and UNOX would shut down the entire break so that Benjamin Thomas couldn't come sixth. In the end, and then Hulgaard sprinted for points and UNOX extended their lead. So the UNOX Cofidis battle for this World Tour license, it's it's why what they're racing for at the moment. I actually find it kind of interesting and entertaining.
Me too.
Yeah, I actually like it, to be
'Cause,
honest.
Why would we be talking in depthly about the Tour de Langkawi otherwise in today's podcast? We wouldn't.
No, we wouldn't. And I do think there's been since the in the first cycle, most of the teams didn't realize that relegation existed, which is kind of crazy in hindsight. In this cycle, everyone's very acutely aware of it. I think it has significantly changed racing across the year and the racing behaviors of teams and planning. No, it's inarguable, but in this cycle, compared to in previous years, it's so obvious.
I agree and I like the change, but if I play advocate of the devil, we've heard a few riders, coincidentally, on teams that have been impacted by the relegation system in the last 4 or 5 years. I think Michael Wood said it as well, saying that it also negatively impacts safety. Do we see a truth in that, or is that just a consequence of racing?
Yeah, I don't see a real connection between that and, to be honest.
Yeah, it's like the argument of, they're trying to triple stack a top 10 with sprinters. Maybe that increases the amount of people that are trying to sprint at the end of a sprint stage.
Yeah,
but
I think every race is hectic for Mike Woods.
I think that's a fair assessment, actually.
So,
but
yeah.
I do want to top it off with a small section about people retiring. I think we saw Nizzolo doing his final race, and they get this, like, I don't know what it's called, but everybody's setting up their bikes and then them walking through their bikes like, well, happy ending, stuff like that. But I think the most important name I want to talk about is Alexander Kristoff, who was part of that UNOX team in Langkawi. I like Kristoff as a rider actually a lot. Like, he has his big history of winning RVV on the modern parkour of RVV, which is a crazy thought process. But just the fact that he's willing to, in the last year of his career, willing to fight for top 10 positions for UCI points. There's other sprinters that wouldn't be doing that. Like, I don't think Caleb Ewan was doing that for Lotto in their last years, you know?
Exactly. I mean, maybe he was more going for the 100th win, but yeah, he seemed very motivated by that. It's a shame it didn't happen. I mean, I think the sprints in Norway were a bit too competitive. Brennan stole one on the line from in Stavanger in Tour of Norway. And
Skill
then,
issue.
Yeah. Well, maybe age issue. And Langkawi, yeah, Malocelli was just really smart, like coming late. I think they were also sprinting with 2, like you said, so that didn't help. But yeah, Kristoff retires. Huge career. That's a lot of wins. Like
98.
It's just a lot of wins, and at high level too. And yeah, it's in the notes, like you say, the fact that he won Tour of Flanders, when you see his rider profile, is kind of crazy.
Yeah, MSR, that 2015 season, that was an insane season because you had the likes of Terpstra and Kristoff just grinding it out against each other on the slopes of the Paterberg. Imagine that in modern age. Put Pogacar current age in that year. How many minutes does he put on there?
Yeah, a lot.
That's no disrespect, but it's just a sign of the times of how much it has changed. And by the way, we often talk about, this RVV parkour is a parkour for climbers now, a parkour for the likes of Tadej Pogacar. He's got the physiological benefit over Mathieu van der Poel, etc. We also just see by the fact that a Kristoff won on that parkour that it's not just the parkour, it's how it's being raced, and it's also how the top level of cycling looks like now. Would you say there were maybe this was before your time in the sport of cycling, but I feel like you've rewatched a couple of races from back then, quite a lot of them, but would you say there's GC riders from back in the day that actually could have competed on an RVV parkour that didn't? Because I think Valverde might have top 10.
Yeah, Valverde is the obvious one because he literally did it. Like, he's like, oh, fuck it, I'll do Tour of Flanders one time, and he came top 10, right?
Nibali launched Terpstra in the edition that Terpstra won. Don't forget. And then he perished, but...
I'm trying to think of others. I mean, Geraint Thomas, he was a classics rider. Trying to think of other GC riders.
Wiggins-Roubaix was a possibility, but...
I think if Roglic grew up cycling, he would have been class in Flanders. Like he's got the big butt and he's climbs seated. So on Paterberg and Kwarmont, he just would be Yeah, I think Roglic, I would have loved to have seen him, but obviously like he would have crashed now. But yeah, Roglic would have been physically very, very good for those races.
Yeah, and riders like Joaquin Rodriguez, those are the riders where the cobbles then hit them too negatively.
Small. He's too small.
Exactly. That was a bit too extreme compared to a Valverde, something like that. But yeah, it's just a sign of the times. But we got to talk about your most important race of the week. You've been yapping about it for days, the Crow race. What happened there, my friend?
Oh, Crow race? Yeah, well, Paul Magnier nearly won 5 times. Kogut beat him. It was a wet night in Stoke. It was in the Zagreb stage. It was really rainy. And Kogut actually, I mean, Magnier, I don't think he's that aero in the first place. When you see how good his data is, I think the only thing stopping him winning every sprint is because he's not that aero. And he's then wearing a big rain jacket, and Kogut came from behind the slipstream and won this actually pretty easily, the last sprint in Zagreb.
Can I be honest? I'm not really surprised because I feel like he won a Belgian 1.1 race, Hoogseppel, just before, if I recall, against the likes of Groenewegen, Gerben Thijssen. Was Jordi Meus there in top 5 somewhere? That's my vague memory of that race. That's not shit competition either. So when we spoke about this race earlier this week, I actually looked at the start list and I thought to myself, Mané is going to dominate the sprints, but if one rider beats him, it's Oid Kogut, and I do wonder where that goes in the future because that's not a shit sprint either, you know?
No, that was his best win to date. Probably better than beating Magnier, frankly. Yeah. But I think I'm not sure he can climb at all. I think he's like a real old school flat day sprint. Yeah. And yeah, he won. Magnier looked really good the other days, including the versatile sprints. McNulty won GC easily by like a minute and a half. He predictably went solo on a long climb. And I do enjoy McNulty. Like, I like the fact that McNulty, like, he has the other program, he does his own thing, and then he goes back to probably his season's done. And he goes back home to Arizona. I saw on Instagram they had a party bus or something. He got a party bus. He's like enjoying it. Like, I don't know, win's a win. He had a good season.
Of course, it's a Crow race. According to you, it's as good as the
No, but it's true. Like, you should celebrate winning. Because Carlos Canals going across to a rider that was going to win, this is ridiculous. And listen, very impressive what UAE are doing this year. They were making a mistake in this race. This was Agostoni, whatever the fuck. And these will all be called the Isaac Del Toro
Italian
classic.
ChatGPT races.
Yeah, Isaac Del Toro farming simulator. UAE had Carlos Canal up the road with Yates, and they blocked the chase, and it was a flat finish. And Yates didn't try to drop Canal, and then they blocked it to go to 2 minutes. And I was like, what are they doing? Canal will obviously easily win the sprint. He's way quicker. And then, like they need more help to win, he just out of nowhere, I have not seen a flat tire in an Italian one-day classic all year, except in San Remo. He suddenly, out of nowhere, has a flat tire, and Yates just rides away and wins when he was going to lose the sprint. Movistar haven't won in 4 months.
It would have been so important for them.
No, it's not funny. Like, they haven't won in 4 months. They've won 4 races this year.
It's not funny, and we're both laughing.
No, how many races they actually won this year? Oh, 9.
What? Wait. What was the race last year? Where was it Hirschi that mechanicaled in a Spanish one-day race, or Lascano?
I can't recall. The last race they won as a team was Dauphiné, the Romeo class win, but yeah, that was 3 months ago.
Yep.
So sucks for Canal because he's a really good rider. But yeah, Yates wins that race. There's my recap there. And Godon won Banocchi. It all came back. Brennan was covering too much in the final. He got caught at the wrong time. And Godon and Lund Andersen sprinted for the win. And this morning you watched Trevally Women, Benji.
Well, I saw the last few kilometers of Trevally Women, so I can't actually discuss the entire race there, but it finished off in a 1v1 sprint between 2 riders, Demi Volding in the New European jersey. and Elisa Longoborghini, and you'd argue, okay, Following usually wins that sprint. Not the case here. This was won by Longoborghini, so she won the women's race of Trevale Varesine, and I'm happy to see her take a dubski here, because to be honest, we spoke about Longoborghini having a fantastic start to the classic season, and then she ended up not riding RVV because of sickness or something, or I vividly remember something like that where she was the favorite. So I don't know. I feel like that was she was robbed. She was robbed by the cycling gods. Anyway, that's the run through the race recaps. But we got to talk about something, Patrick, because last week you did a bit of a join FTP test. But can we talk about the join ride we have planned this week?
We got a race this week on Thursday, 8 o'clock in the evening European time, 4:30 in the afternoon Pacific Standard Time. That's in America, I believe. We have a join workout that's also it's part of your plan. If you're doing the join indoor Lanterne Rouge plan, it's factored into your week, and and so the plan accounts for this. But it's a race on sand and sequoias on Zwift. If you just want to join us doing the race, Benji's turning up this week because he heard there's a race on, so he's going to do it. If you just want to join, that's fine too. You can join us on Zwift. You can join the Join Club on Zwift. That's the best way to get notified about events like this. There's a million ways to get notified about it. But yeah, that's at 8 o'clock European time, 4:30 Pacific Standard Time. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. You can race against me and Benji unless you're in the A. Unless you're in the A category. Yeah, Benji's going to put his
real words.
Benji's going to put his trainer in the freezer beforehand and see what happens. But yeah, you can do it whenever you like. That's the beauty of Join. It can be flexible. But yeah, join the Zwift Club of Join Cycling, and then you can get notified by it, we're in it. And then there's also the direct Zwift integration, so it automatically syncs your workout to. So basically, if you do a workout in Zwift, it automatically syncs to Join, and then also Join structured training plans can be executed directly in Zwift, so it works both ways. But yeah, thanks to Join Cycling as always for supporting us and getting this weekly show off the ground. Okie dokie. News, Benji.
Yes, news. So obviously we had Israel Premier Tech. We have to talk about the follow-up of what happened at the Vuelta as well, which was protests against the presence of the Israel Premier Tech team. We then had city councils saying that they didn't want races to come to their cities, including Barcelona, for the Tour de France Grand Départ, if IPT was present at the race. Then we heard Italian races and Spanish races disinviting IPT from their races. But an even more important fact is what happens inside the team. And over the last few weeks, several sponsors of the team expressed the desire or necessity to remove the word Israel from its name. For example, Factor's founder said, without a name change, without a flag change, we won't continue. That was his quote. So Factor is the bike brand that sponsors the team of IPT, so pretty important stakeholder of the team, I would say. Now, there was an announcement, I think it was yesterday morning. My days are kind of walking into each other these days, but it basically said that the team is set to rebrand in a, I quote, move away from its current Israeli identity. And I also quote the next sentence, looking ahead to the 2026 season, Sylvan Adams has chosen to step back from his day-to-day involvement and will no longer speak on behalf of the team. And I think the reality of the situation is that Factor obviously realizes that their connection with a team that has Israel in its name leads to them being probably less able or unable to activate their sponsorship. So it doesn't shock me at all that they have issues with that happening at the moment, you know?
Well, the interview with the CEO, I believe it was, literally said that.
Okay.
Literally said we can't activate it fully. So they basically say we are not going to keep sponsoring the team without a name change. That seems to probably be the case for other partners, small and big. And we'll see in the... this doesn't mean that Sylvan Adams doesn't own the team anymore. It doesn't mean that he's not funding the team.
No.
He's still bankrolling like the ultimate stopgap or guarantor of the team. And
what's a stopgap?
like, if there were no sponsors,
Okay.
it would ultimately be Sylvan Adams' responsibility to pay the bills.
Like the Czech do that quick step.
Yeah. Or I don't know. What
Do
other
that
team?
Ineos. Manchester guy.
Yeah, Jim Ratcliffe. Exactly.
I forgot all the names.
Or Jerry at Jayco.
Yeah.
That was the case in the past. So does this change things? We'll see. I mean,
I think so.
I think it does, because Movistar are also owned by an Israeli billionaire.
Yeah.
43% of them are.
That publicly known. Like mainstream cycling fans will not know that.
That's the difference. Is that Sylvan Adams has been very prominent, outspoken. You've got Netanyahu tweeting in support of the team. It's not the case with Movistar. The average person has no idea that Abaca Sports has had a large minority purchased by Quantum Pacific, Quantum of Solace, James Bond Shipping Group. So that's the difference. So we'll see what practically happens.
But I then wonder if we look at the team itself, like, do we expect anything to change with the Derek G situation?
Well,
it's difficult, because we don't know the internal reasonings behind it fully.
It depends, like, on the legalities. First of all, I have no idea what his case is. Mm-hmm. Secondly, the fact that if they change the nationality or jurisdiction of the contracts, if the team changes from Israel registered to Canada, what does that mean?
That just means it's a Canadian team from that onwards. But
maybe, does that mean the current contracts, like, people can leave then?
I actually don't know that. I don't think so. I have never thought about it like that. Like with the Titema Rockets changing from a Dutch team to a French team, did that mean that the contracts could change? I don't know.
Yeah.
Luke says the paying agent potentially stays the same.
If the paying agent stays the same,
it's only the license that changes country, no?
Yeah, that's right.
Because let's say, so there's paying agent. Hypothetically, I've got a company called Benji Enterprises. Benji Enterprises is a Belgian company, but I feel like I have to pay a lot of taxes, hypothetically. So I make it a Luxembourg license. Or is that not how it works? Is the Luxembourg paying agent that Quickstep has? We're asking a lot of questions that we have no answer to right now.
we don't really know without knowing. You never actually know how these teams are set up, what the contracts say. But from what I can see, there will not be a mass exodus of riders from that team. I think Luke is saying DSM went from Netherlands to Germany and back. It changed nothing. So in that case, yeah, I would say apart from Derek G, one can expect all of the IPT riders to still be on that team next year that have a contract there. Okay.
That's kind of it when it comes to the official updates on that IPT situation at the moment, because we'll now see whether that impacts how race organizers, how the public looks at the team. And I guess we'll find out in the future what the next following updates are, what the rebranding is going to be, because we don't know that yet. Like, is it just going to be Premier Tech? Is it going to be Premier Tech powered by maple syrup? We don't know. So I guess we'll try to update you if we hear any more news about the rebranding of the IPT team. But I want to bring it towards a equally interesting situation. Kian Uijtdebroeks joining Movistar for 4 years. Because let's track that back for a second, Patrick. We've got Kian Uijtdebroeks riding for Bora Hansgrohe 4 years ago, whatever. At the end of 2023, he dips out in a public breakup. It was a pretty big debacle that was part of the reason that the UCI rules changed in terms of tri-party agreements and stuff like that. Because wasn't it a situation where Kian forced himself out of the team against the will of Bora basically forcing them into a tri-party agreement?
Well, eventually there was one, but
they didn't want it.
It was not. It was more. Yeah, it was not as amicable as, say, the Groenewegen one when he went to Jayco, or the Roglic one when he went to Bora, or maybe the Ayuso one when he went to Trek. Although, was there a tripartite? There must have been. There must have been. So yeah, there was these new rules that basically introduced very strict rules about signing riders if you don't have a tripartite agreement, and that it could include, actually, now you can in theory have your ability to register new transfer suspended for a year, which is pretty serious.
Luke says that Visma signed them without Bora having even agreed on the termination yet, but I also vividly remember Kian's agent then posting a very celebratory victory message on his Instagram. Honestly, psychotic behavior in my personal opinion. But that whole debacle that year, we even had the bullying aspect to it. We still don't know whether the bullying actually happened, whether Kian was bullied in a group chat at Bora Hansgrohe, whether that was invented by Kian's agent or his future team there to kind of fuel up the potential transfer possibilities to try and worm his way out. It was a whole debacle. It ends up with a 4-year contract, if I recall correctly, for Kian Uijtdebroeks at Visma Leasebike from 2024, 2025, 26, and 27.
Yep.
Now we're at the end of 2025. Had to check. But we get the news that Kian Uijtdebroeks is leaving Visma Leasebike and is joining Movistar. This doesn't look like it's a public breakup kind of situation. This looks like it was more amicable than the 2023 situation. And there were a few press releases. I don't have them by hand, but if I recall, it came down to, from Visma Leasebike as Saxpe press release. I vividly remember it saying along the lines of, we can't give him the calendar and opportunities.
There was no Visma press release.
Oh, there wasn't.
So
where did I see that then?
That was in the Movistar press release.
What?
So I've never seen it before like this.
Yeah, and Visma retweeted the Movistar press release.
So
I've never seen it like that.
That's why it is so different from the Bora to Visma termination. Because here, you have quotes from Visma in the Movistar announcement of Uijtdebroeks signing. And so, I mean, we'll talk about what it means for Movistar in a second. That's pretty clear. But yeah, I will quote. So the quote from Kian in the Movistar press release was, I feel it's words like, I now feel it's time to open new horizons in my development and take on new challenges. He emphasizes that his development in Grand Tours is essential, and Movistar has a proud history in Grand Tours and World Tour Classics. It's true. I actually said that myself about Remco, that Movistar for Grand Tours actually pretty
Still
good
disagree
team.
with you on that. I think they're good in Grand Tours, but I don't think it would have been a good decision for Remco to go there. That's my personal opinion.
Probably not. And the quote from Richard Plugger and Visma was that we're delighted to see Kian take his first professional victory for our team this year, but the honest truth is that Kian's ambitions and those of the team have diverged. At this time, we cannot offer Kian the role and racing program he considers essential for his development. After open and honest discussions, we've agreed to take his request to take a new step in his career. We wish Kian every success on that journey.
There's also a quote by Enric Mas saying, I very much welcome Kian blah 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 to the team.
You had me in the first half. You had me in the first half. And so if people don't know, Enric Mas has got an injury at the moment, or like whether you call it an injury or an illness. He has an iliac artery issue. Okay. His return to the bike is undetermined. So he's their best GC rider. They got Rubio, who can top 10 and has top 10 Grand Tours, but not better.
Kian's the second best rider at Movistar behind Enric Mas from this point onwards.
Yeah. And so for Movistar, it's obvious and attractive that you can bring in a rider. And like we just read out about Carlos Canal, Movistar for the top 5 in a Grand Tour is good. And Kian was top 5 in the white jersey of the Giro before he got sick last year.
Yeah.
And then you see his current level at the moment. That's top 5 Giro level, I would say.
Do we know whether there's a causality or correlation with riders who are in relationships with female cyclists, whether they perform better or worse?
Well, I haven't studied it extensively, but the Uijtdebroeks-Valliere couple, I must say, are both in very, very good shape.
Yeah.
I mean, Magdalene won the World Championships. She was on the attack solo in Tre Valley this morning. And then Kian, I would say, is in the one-day races. He's taken a step up. San Sebastian, World Champs. Emilia, he was the third strongest rider, I think.
But the one thing we haven't mentioned yet is that his days at Visma Leasebike were impacted by injury news and so forth. We heard multiple times that he had back issues and then saddle changes and then bike fit changes and lots of changes. And in the end, he is performing again, which I'm happy to see. And I'm extremely curious what that shows at Movistar, because at the end of the day, I think he's going to have opportunities there. He's going to be able to race the races he wants. And I also think Visma Leasebike can use the money based on their transfer period so far.
Yeah, I think for Movistar, Movistar had to do it, right?
Yeah. Well, they didn't have to, but it's a good choice.
I think it's a good signing for them. And the feedback when you read the Spanish, like their Spanish fans, and listen, the Spanish fans take every opportunity to shit on Movistar. But this was actually overwhelmingly positive, the reaction to signing Uijtdebroeks, because then Enric can do Tour to prepare Vuelta, and then Giro, Uijtdebroeks can be sole leader.
Yep. And let's not forget, he was literally fighting for a top 5 in 2024 Giro before he dipped out with illness. So people forget that he was still relevant in a Grand Tour in the last 2 years.
I would say his shape at the moment indicates that that's not gone. It's not gone.
Time trialing, though, good luck with that.
Yeah, but top 5, you can have a bad TT. The problem is to podium or win.
Look at Felix Gall.
Yeah, he top 5s, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Riccitello, better TT though, you know?
Riccitello's TT was very good in the Vuelta. I don't know where that came from. Later news. Lotto Intermarché merger leads to staff on the street is Benji's headline. So there's an article in Newsblad this morning that says that despite the CEO of the National Lottery giving maybe not guarantees, but indicating that
relative promised
that staff on the Lotto cycling team would have their contracts respected. Apparently, several staff members have not been kept. That includes chief doctor, physio, some mechanics who are long-standing members. They've been told they're not needed for next year. This is subsequent to the CEO, Stefan Hulot, stepping aside. So, this is further evidence the merger is happening. But also, when mergers happen, people lose their jobs. It's just the reality of putting two teams together.
That's very true. I do think this then once again brings to the forefront that CEO of the Belgian National Lottery, Jannie Haak, is not exactly I don't know. I don't think he's been a good thing for the team in the long run, as we've seen numerous changes, whether it was from the firings of Marc Sergeant and Herman Frison back in the day as team leaders, to going further throughout the timeline where they couldn't find any sponsors because Lotto wanted to be primary sponsor, and that then conflicted with the desires of potential secondary sponsors that wanted to step up. And there were numerous issues that, if you look at the cause, Jannie Haak was always somewhere around it causing trouble. And I lose respect for someone that promises their staff members that they won't have issues with their job security and it leading to them getting fired weeks later. That is, to me, unacceptable. But the reality of the sport is that when it's not really a merger, is it? Because is it kind of more an acquisition? How can we describe it?
It's a take. Yeah, there's no such real thing as an equal merger, is there?
Hostile takeover.
No, it's not hostile. It's not hostile because they both need to do
takeover. Well, it's pretty violent. People on the street.
No politics, Benji. It sounds like the Intermarché staff are coming over, like the senior staff.
Yeah.
The Lotto core of riders are staying, and it's the Lotto license that's staying, even though they're the pro team applying for World Tour, presumably in a week at the UCI. But it's Wiesbeek and the Wanty senior people, and if they're the senior people, then that will filter down. They're going to pick probably the people they're familiar with from their organization.
And I think it's also the guy that runs Intermarché Wanty, Jean-François Boulard, who is like the CEO of the team from next year onwards. So that's why Renault is also on the street, etc. But also on top of that, I would say that we saw some changes in the run-up to this. I think obviously Alex Segard joined Bahrain Victorious because his family member is also a staff member there, a mechanic maybe, I don't remember what he does, Loic Segard. But then there's also the fact that Nicolas Maas, I think, has moved to Bahrain Victorious or is moving to Bahrain Victorious as well. So he dipped out before the firings even arrived. So there's, these are not clean things, mergers.
So Flanders Baloise is not getting funding anymore, the road team?
Not getting funding anymore, but I don't know if it was 2027 or 2026.
And Wagner Bazin, which is a pro team.
They got more funding now or something? Or
I thought their riders got told they could look for new teams.
Ooh, I think there was a positive outcome for that, but I'm trying to look it up. Luke can look it up as well while we're talking, because
either way, there's definitely been
it's a fusion. No, wait. That happened last year.
Fusion. You mean like what those
a merger.
The good Japanese restaurants in Paris. Yeah.
Oh, we got an update. Luke says, I thought they were folding. Well, okay,
yeah, me too.
That's depressing.
So it seems to be a serious contraction in the number of Belgian teams. We've got Quickstep, Lotto, we had Wanty, they're merging into one. There's also... Is there another Belgian team?
Which ones have you said?
Quickstep, Lotto, Wanty, Wagner.
But
I think,
that's it when it comes to the top level of cycling.
Yeah.
Alpecin,
Jesus. So yeah, there's probably 6 professional teams. 6 professional teams in the I know it's a big cycling nation, but
then I hear from, I don't know if this is confirmed, but I heard a few people tell me that Lotto would then show up with a Lotto Intermarché World Tour team and also a pro team and a Conti team. Is that legal?
No, not a pro team.
That's what I
has to be a Devo team.
3 teams is what I heard.
I know they got two licenses.
It's not possible, right? That shouldn't be allowed, is what I'm trying to say.
But the pro team, you can't have a pro team and a World Tour team under the same paying agent.
Also, it would struggle to find a calendar without...
Dude, isn't the problem that these 2 teams have not enough depth of quality rider because they're all competing for the same rider pool and they need to merge so that there's one stronger team? Isn't that the point? So,
by the way, Michiel Lambrecht, the rider on Wagner Bazin, indeed said early October that his team will cease to exist. Probably.
Okay, that's sad. So yeah, it's unfortunate it's that time of the year, but this happens every year in cycling. There's Arkea on the brink as well. I mean, it sounds like Hubert was looking for one last foreign sponsor, but I'm not that hopeful, to be honest.
He said the hope was all lost in an interview recently.
Yeah,
that he has no leads anymore, so Arkea is done for, I'm afraid. Which, that's kind of just sad.
Updates to the UCI released the full calendar for 2026 yesterday. We have, for the women's calendar, the top 15 teams in the combined ranking will get a a World Tour license. Roland is looking like losing their World Tour license. EF.
Good.
I mean, then
we can't give out World Tour licenses in cereal boxes. That is what happened to Roland. Now they've proven that they're not sportive good enough, sports merit-wise, to have deserved that World Tour license, and they're losing it. This is what it is about. skill issues, Patrick. It's all about skill issues. And you know who doesn't have a skill issue?
EF.
EF.
Yeah, EF women's team. They got the new world champion. They're obviously a world tour level team, so it's good. I expect them to step up. In the calendar part of it, at least in the men's side. Oh, sorry, I'll finish with the women's. The women have previously been allowed to skip a lot more world tour races compared to the men's world tour teams.
Yeah.
That's not the case anymore. The women have to do. Those rules have been harmonized, and they have to do, I think, almost all the women's world tour races. In terms of the calendar changes, we got some big ones. I'll start with the big ones. Herald Sun Tour is back. Won by Chris Froome 10 years ago, I think, when he attacked Peter. So Peter Kennaugh had helped Froome to multiple Tour de France victories, didn't win a lot of races. And in February .1 race in Australia, he was in the leader's jersey. Froome attacked him and rode away to win it, which is kind of funny. Or sad, depending on how you look at it. And
it's funny. I don't give a fuck about him.
It's fun. And that race is back at the start of February. You'll all remember that because it was one of the only races on. It was one of the last races before COVID stopped all of the racing in 2020. Jay Vine, Jai Hindley, Damien Howson, Seb Berwick on Mount Buller or Falls Creek. You can get a good mountaintop finish in Victoria. Long climbs, so you can. It's the Victorian Alps.
When you say Victoria, I think about the bus station in London.
Yeah, slightly
don't
different.
Think you can get a good
mountaintop finish there. But I'll be interested to see because all the teams have to do. I think all the teams will do Cadell's this year because they have to. The new rules are you can only skip one World Tour race and you can't skip the same race more than once in the 3-year cycle. So then Herald Sun Tour starts 3 days later. Do you then extend another week?
Maybe a few teams, maybe a Jayco, stuff like that, because Jayco is sponsoring the team, the race. Jayco Herald Sun Tour, it's called. Yeah. So that's relevant there. I'm not sure all teams will do that, though. I think there's also a few teams who will say, okay, we need to go to Valenciana, Andalusia, stuff like that, which also starts Bessèges, Provence a bit later.
Yeah.
So
it's a long
I think it all
time
depends on the individual schedule. I see that there, and then there's only X amount of kangaroos you can see. So let's not
Oscar Onley will do it for sure.
What is Oscar Onley's favorite Australian animal?
I don't know, but he's going to win Herald Sun Tour.
It's definitely not a kangaroo. He's not a kangaroo guy.
I always think, why don't more pros do their winter and train in Australia? It makes no sense to me.
It's fucking expensive to go there.
Oh yeah, and these guys are on what? These guys don't have money. How much money these fucking guys make?
Wait, are we talking about just Oscar only, or are we talking about Tim Naberman?
Yeah, okay.
To be fair, Tim Naberman, Nepo baby can probably afford it.
I mean actually, who do I mean?
Emil de Jong.
Stop picking Dutch Conti riders. I mean, GC ride, guys on
Bram
good
Welton.
money. Yeah, sure. Okay, sure. Bramwell probably will do. Yeah, he'll probably do. Pick Herald Sun Tour. I'm just saying, I would rather train in Australia than the Costa Brava in winter.
You're Australian.
Yeah, I know that helps.
I'm going to Tenerife again, so.
Yeah, I always get surprised. Oscar Onley switched on. I think he'll be at TDU again, I'd say. Alrighty. Oh, other changes. Muscat Classics are .pro. Surf Classics are .pro in Torquay.
Surf Coast Classic is actually relevant because that is part of the.
It's the bridge between TDU and Cadell's. It's on the Wednesday before Cadell's, after TDU.
So that becoming .1. So for the people that don't know this, race classifications. Let's do a basics explanation here. So what we mean by saying the Surf Coast Classic is changing from a 1.1 race to a 1.pro race. You've got World Tour at the top. You've got below that .pro races. Below that 1.1. Then 1.2. Those are the ones that we see the majority of teams ride. There's also national races and U23 races under that, but let's skip those for now. then in each of those categories, there's a separation. In World Tour races, you've got 1.UWT, 1. World Tour, and 2.UWT. That 1 and 2, that defines what kind of race it is. So for example, 1.Pro is a one-day race on Pro Series level. 2.Pro is a multi-day stage race on Pro Series level. So what we're saying is, Muscat Classic and Surf Coast Classic change from 1.1, so one category lower, higher to 1.Pro, meaning bigger teams are there. The percentage in the maximum amount of World Tour teams allowed goes up, and also the amount of Pro. There's new rules as well when it comes to the Pro teams, right? In Pro Series races?
Yeah, they have to invite all the top 5 Pro teams from the previous year.
And we see different changes in, for example, the Clásica Camp de Morvedre is a Spanish one-day race that is in January, if I recall, around the 20th of January. So during STDU period, that changes to a 1.1 race instead of 1.2. That's a race that I think was invented only in 2025. So stepping up already to 1.1 was won by Berade. That's a pure guess. But that's a race that probably will get a little bit more important in that Spanish block of racing in January and February. A bit more UCI points available as well if a race goes up in level. But the one that's very intriguing to me are the following two, Patrick. Maryland Cycling Classic, listen to this, is going from a 1.Pro race to a 2.Pro race. So from a one-day race in Pro Series to a stage race in Pro Series. I don't know how many days, etc. But that's a positive for US cycling, because before it was only the Maryland Cycling Classic one-day race. And on top of this, the Philadelphia Cycling Classic is a new 1.1 race in the US as well. I assume in Philadelphia, otherwise they
Powered
probably
by
wouldn't name it like
Amerigas.
that. Powered by Amerigas. Sports washing, yeah!
Dude, no, the American races love to have PB sponsor.
Yeah. Powered by, there was a team back in the day.
Jelly.
Belly in the name.
Jelly
Belly. Yes.
Yeah. Maxis Jelly Belly something. And
United Healthcare powered by also existed.
Whereas the Italian, Spanish, and Belgian races will have like Grote Prijs Jean-Pierre Montserrat Memorial Jean-Pierre van den Speybroek. Like they do like memorial something. So they should make it.
I went to Belgium last week, and obviously, if you go to a village in Belgium, there's about a 70% chance that within the week you are there, there's going to be some kind of cycling race. So there was the Grote Prijs, Jules van Evel, apparently a cyclist from back in the day in Uijtdebroeks. And I literally left the country as the race was starting, so I didn't see the outcome of the race, I'm afraid. But Belgian ChatGPT races for you. But if we see this, plus the birth of the pro team of Hinkepie, I still haven't gotten used to the name, something with adventure in it.
Modern adventure cycling.
Modern adventure cycling. Is this a potential resurrection of US cycling, or are we exaggerating when we say that?
I think it's pretty important that there's a proper American pro team. Yeah, I think it's pretty important. They obviously need a calendar for them to do. I wonder what their calendar will look like. It helps that they have, I assume they can pro teams can do 0.2 races, right? Yeah.
Pro teams, yes. World Tour teams can't.
So they can still do Tour of the Gila, the American. There's a decent .2 circuit there. Now they got a .pro stage race in Maryland. They got Philly Classic.
But .2 races are not considered pro victories if you win it, right?
Correct. Not considered it yet. Correct.
Yeah.
But I mean, more marketing wise, it's important that they can still do that calendar of race. They will have to race in Europe, I assume. How extensive that is, I don't know. But they will really, because EF is an American team.
Yeah.
How many Americans do they have on Little Trek's American team? How many Americans? Like, it's not the same as Movistar is a Spanish team with Spanish riders.
Euskaltel.
Yeah, that's really or Flanders Balwaza. So I think it's good. And I think it's good there's more races in America. I'd love to see a week-long race. Tour of California was sick. Tour of Utah was sick. We have the Worlds in North America next year. Hopefully we can ride that momentum and get more races over there, maybe in Mexico. I'd love a Mexican one-day race with Del Toro would be sweet.
I'm calling for a stoppage, Patrick. I'm calling for the stopping of giving out a Tour de France Grand Départ every single fucking year. In 2028, the Tour de France is supposedly starting, rumored to be, according to L'Essentiel, which is a Luxembourg paper. I've got no clue whether it's like the Sun in the UK and we shouldn't give a fuck about it. But in that newspaper it says, or in that magazine it says that the Tour de France 2028 will have a Grand Départ most likely happening in Luxembourg, which the majority of people, when they think of Luxembourg, they think of the fantastic province in Belgium on the right bottom. Turns out there's also something across the border, some small thing called Luxembourg, which is a country. As Belgians, we don't see it that way. We see it as part of Belgium, of course. But it's fair to say, okay, I'm continuing my rant, okay? I want to see a good French Grand Départ 3 years out of 4. And you sure, there's going to be people in the comment section.
3 out of 4?
2 out of 3. In the comment section, I see people typing, but ASO can get a lot of money from having a Grand Départ elsewhere. That's true. But they're making more than 100 million in profit every year. You don't need to do it for the money anymore. Do it for the culture.
Yeah, I like the foreign Grand Départs. I got to disagree with you. I don't need to see the Giro Grand Départ in.
I'm sorry. Did you give a fuck about the tour starting in Firenze? Was it a tour that started in Firenze? I don't even know.
But that's weird. That's weird.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say.
No. But that's different. Why has Turin got a stranglehold on the start of all Grand Tours? Like, no, you should not have a Grand Tour Grand Départ in a country which has a Grand Tour. Turin should have to put all its money to paying RCS for a Grande Partenza. Not a paid shill. I really like the Albania Grande Partenza. I had a great time.
Okay. I think we had a great time, so we were biased in that sense. We enjoyed our time in Albania, but where's the line? Because I'm hearing people talk about an Abu Dhabi Grand Départ. Are we going to go to New Zealand in a fucking hobbit hole? Dude,
Abu Dhabi Grand Départ would be sick. We're going to do UAE Grand Départ. I'll design it. We're going to do Al Mirfa. We just do three stages of Al Mirfa to make sure one of the day that wind is blowing correct. Vision, we're going to bring Nicholas Behrens, Affini, the highest fucking Guillaume Van. Who's that guy that was massive rouleur?
Guillaume? Van Kersbulk.
Yeah, hire him for the day.
He's been retired for 17 decades.
I like the Grand Départs in countries which don't have Grand Tours in them or different. Like Luxembourg, I think it'd be cool. Germany, love to see again.
Does a Luxembourg Grand Départ means that after the race starts, it goes to Belgium, it goes down into cobblestone territory around Roubaix?
Maybe. Well, they started in Lille this year, didn't do any cobbles. But
yeah, that was illegal, I'm sorry.
That was strange.
Lille is basically Belgium anyway.
I think Luxembourg, they kind of get away with those because they don't count, right? Because they don't need to schedule a rest day.
That's what I'm saying. Luxembourg doesn't count. You're a fellow Belgian at this point.
Yeah, I mean, Luxembourg, I don't really count. I mean, the Giro goes all in. They're like, we're going to
Alex
Bulgaria.
Kirsch is listening to this podcast and saying, never again am I listening to this.
No, but Luxembourg's easy because it's like, it's next to France pretty much, right?
Oh, isn't the rule that only once every 4 years it can go to a non-adjacent country? Luxembourg is adjacent to France.
And definitely not in consecutive years. So that's where I don't and you can't have 3 rest days in consecutive years. So this year in the Giro, we had 3 rest days, right? Because they needed to transfer by boat from Albania. How does the Bulgaria, my geography is not so good, but how does the Bulgaria Grande Partenza work then?
I think we've had this discussion before. There was another year where it was illegal for that to happen.
I think what happens is they just let them do it.
Yeah, because money. Because money is bigger than rules, according to the UCI.
I've been looking. There's a good ski station in Sofia. You can do a nice. It's like the classic Giro Stage 3 mountain finish. That's not too hard, but it's an uphill finish. It's got some pave. I've Google Mapped it. I've looked. It's going to be good. So we're doing Sofia Grande Partenza.
But where does it stop? What did we think about the Vuelta ending in Gran Canaria and Tenerife, which those races don't want
That's in Spain.
the Vuelta to come anymore if IPT is at the race, but that's in Spain, but it's half a continent away.
It's next to Africa, yeah.
But what I do like is a Tour de France going across the border, doing one stage, finishing on Col del Finestre, going back the next day. I value that a lot more because that's relevant to the race.
No, that's cool. And the Vuelta, when the Vuelta did Tourmalet was cool, and then they came back. I like that. And there's the British Grand Depart in 2027.
Yep.
Wait, where does the tour start?
Massively supporting that, of course.
Wait, so it goes Barcelona, British Grand Depart, Luxembourg.
My loyal UK government, I promise to support your bid for the Tour de France.
Oh, they have.
Please don't ruin my freedom of speech.
They have it. So yeah, Barca and Luxembourg they don't need a rest day. Britain, they need a rest day, I would say, because it's not in Schengen or the EU, but it is in Europe. So it takes a while to get back across. But yeah, Benji's been bottling up that rant. I had to let him rant. Normally, I'm the one ranting. Personally, I like the foreign Grand Departs. I like them. I know the riders probably don't. Understandably.
What's your most desired Grand Depart start outside of Europe? Outside of Australia. We're not accepting that shit.
Outside of Europe.
Mexico. In Cancun.
Slovenia?
That's not a... Hey. Slovenia's in Europe! But I agree. I want the Ljubljana start for the
North
tour.
America.
I want to go there.
North America. Tour, not like... Imagine 3 stages on the East Coast. I mean, you can't. West Coast is too far, the time zone, but yeah, North American Grand Depart would be crazy good. I think that's logistically too difficult.
Is it Route 66? There's one stage the entire.
Imagine a sprint, and they do the stage finishing at the end of that peninsula that goes below Florida. That's just north of Cuba. The Key West.
The Gulf of America.
The Key West Peninsula, Tim Merlier sprint. I'd be sick.
Bro, I have no clue what you're talking about.
It'd be so good. Okay, that's my dream. I'll draw up the plans for it. But yeah, East Coast North America would be my actual
climbing the Liberty statue.
I mean, it is French, isn't it? Is it a gift from France?
I don't know. I'm too scared to respond wrongly to that question.
I think it might be. Okay, races coming up this week in little old Europe. We have Gran Piemonte. Apparently the route for this wasn't released for quite a while. I saw a rumor that RCS was in negotiations, is maybe not the correct word.
By the way,
maybe
the French thing, they own everything. French fries?
I think they actually do own the Statue of Liberty.
They don't own French fries, and they're still going around telling everybody they do.
I'm looking it up on Google. So yeah, a US politician rejected the return of the Statue of Liberty.
Who the fuck cares?
Because a European politician said maybe you should give it back.
If only politicians cared about people living in the country instead of stupid fucking statues nobody gives a fuck about.
No, that's not true, Benji. Culture and the arts is a beacon of civilization, and it's not... Yeah. It's more important than just dollars and cents.
I don't know.
Gives hope to people.
Without art, what are we? Well, I'm sorry, but I don't think my parents give a fuck about a Liberty statue or whatever, or the fucking local statue.
They're
from
Belgian. They're not French. They don't live in Liège.
The fucking random Boudewijn statue in Bruges. I don't think they cared about that when they barely could afford to live day to day.
I'm not going to hear about Belgians talking about statues. Belgian idea of building a statue is having a cast iron mold of a child peeing. That's all. I go to the Dutch-speaking countries, there's just statues of people peeing. And I'm like, what's going on here? What's going on? And they're like,
I do not support Monica
what's
piss.
it actually called? The mannequin.
I do not support Monica piss. I think it should be destructive.
It's really famous in Brussels.
Is there like some fucking bad history to it?
We don't need to get into that. All right, Gran Piemonte, there was a negotiations or maybe a contract dispute between RCS and I think Acquiterme, which is a sponsor of the race. It's like it was expected to host the finish of the Gran Piemonte race, but the agreement was at risk due to financial issues, but the race is happening.
It was a public fountain with a little boy statue next to it, and some weird dude thought it was a great idea to turn it into a child that's pissing.
I mean, your people did it, so I mean,
my people did a lot of bad shit back in the day, that's for sure.
But actually,
anyway,
economically, tourism-wise, it worked. It's like very famous. Now people go and they see it.
I'm happy for you.
Be happy for be happy for the financial coffers of Brussels. We have Gran Piemonte this week. It's like a versatile sprint, but maybe won't be because it's got a 2K 9% section, 20K from the finish. Of course, UAE are there, so they'll be wanting to light up the race. On the provisional start list is Del Toro, so I can't really go past him, frankly. Even if he doesn't drop someone like Bettiol or Scaroni, they'll cooperate and he'll win.
Yeah.
And then we have Paris Tour, which I'm quite excited about. It's quite a good race, 212Ks. We have some gravel. Is it technically gravel? I don't know. At the end of the race, it's pretty flat, but some punchy climbs. Benji confirms it is gravel. We have Brennan, Laporte for Visma.
Mud.
It usually is mud, actually, because if there's a bit of rain.
It's all the same. It's off-road. It's a glorified cyclocross race.
Riley Sheehan won this race before. Elsewise, we have Jasper Philipsen, but not many confirmed starters. DeLee is on the confirmed start list. He pulled out of a race with illness. Barsh, I think today he's supposed to do, but he's sick.
Correct.
So I'm going to go with, I can't go past DeLee. He's in fine form. I think he's just taking a day off to go for Paris Tour.
Benji, is that an important region for the Lotto sponsor?
Yeah, you mean if he was in good shape, they wouldn't have just said, don't worry. You mean he must really be sick?
That's what I'm thinking about. Is it like a Le Samin case? I don't know.
I mean, it's part of the Lotto Cup, probably. Surely, right?
Yeah. Yeah, true. They're too busy firing people to notice that he dipped out today. But I think I'm agreeing with you because I'm not sure Philipsen's still feeling it at the moment. Well, he won Spartacross and Munsterland Giros. But I'm going with Philipsen.
Yeah. They'll be the favourites, those two. But these races are very important for the relegation battle as well. So Uno X will, maybe a Uno Xer, maybe Jonas Abrahamsen, maybe Søren Varensholt. They're good for those sort of races. So we'll see. I'm watching, I think, a Søren Varensholt trying to use a spanner to fix his right shifter, which is broken mid-race in Bash right now, which is on. So that's we'll see if he gets that fixed. But otherwise, that's all the news we had. That's all the race previews. As a reminder, we have the Zwift Join Cycling Lanterne Rouge race this Thursday in a couple of days. So, yes, sign up for that. Join the Join Club on Zwift, and you'll be notified of that event when they come up. Anything else on your mind, Benji?
Lombardia preview in the coming days, I guess.
Yep.
I successfully coerced you into making a separate Lombardia
I wanted to do it
talk for 25 minutes about one person who's going. Well, wasn't there a women's Lombardia supposed to exist at some point? There were rumors about that 2 years ago, and then it just didn't happen.
They did do San Remo, so this year that was a good start, but indeed, Lombardia has not happened yet. That's why normally at Trevali, the women's had a pretty stacked start list this morning, actually. But yeah, San Remo women was very good, I thought, although the same rider won as the one Bash today. Okay, that's all from us. We'll see you on Thursday indoors in the evening. And until then, ciao, ciao.